that live now? Yep. Okay. Yeah. I've had to come outside because my Wi-Fi connection is playing up, acting funny. But so I've been doing some videos. I was saying that I saw an advertisement come up on my Facebook feed about a public speaking event, and I've never really done public speaking. It was pitched towards people who have coaching businesses or are thinking to go into like coaching business or mentoring or this sort of thing. But it just got me thinking, you know, if I was to do public speaking, what actually would I talk about? I really don't know. I don't have a clue. So I just started working on something. But basically working on it, I just wasn't happy with what I put down, what I wrote, what I've got. And doing more reflection on this is making me realise this is work in progress. And I have to obviously get clear as to the intent and the purpose of the public speech. So, for example, what I've come to acknowledge, I can go two ways. I can either pitch it as a success speech, my success story, or I could do it as my authentic story. So yeah, I have to think about what's the purpose, who's the audience, what am I trying to get or gain from doing this public speech? Am I doing it in order to secure more clients, to get clients? Am I doing it to tell my story and to come across as relatable and authentic, so that I have that empathic relatability with potential clients? Or am I just doing it like for my own self-reflective purposes? That's what I have to get clear about first and foremost. So yeah, there's different angles that I could take it at. So I started writing something, and as I said, I wasn't quite happy with it because I just found that when I'm writing, when I do things like this, I'm just very much like on function mode. I'm just very, I was born here, this is what, you know, this is what I did this day, this is what I did then, this is what I did, then I did this, then I did that, then I did this. Very like functional. And I need to get more like emotionally like real, you know. I find this really hard. It's a challenge in myself to just like get emotionally like involve my emotion, you know, in what I'm talking about. So that's my challenge. But basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read through what I've got. Yeah. As it is at the moment, which, you know, this is like a rough draft version, but I think what I'm going to do is come back to it, and I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to address the points that I want to retweak in the thing. Okay, so basically, so this is what I had first of all. Okay, this is what I got. Okay, so I've just recently completed a level 2 counselling course. I also have a coaching diploma for the Speak Up Challenge. Right. I also work part-time on a home... No, let's not leave anything out. Okay. I've just recently completed a level 2 counselling course. I also have a coaching diploma from the Speak Up Challenge. I'm wanting to start my counselling and coaching business, specialising in helping young people and women realise their potential. I also work part-time as a home tutor for post-16 students experiencing exclusion and barriers to learning. I find this role motivating and challenging. Motivating in the sense that I've worked with young people in education for many years. I find this role inspirational, having an impact on the growth and lives of young people. I find it challenging in the sense that I find myself increasingly having to balance the fact that my position and role is about motivating others, inspiring others to find their own way in life, their own passions, etc., while simultaneously I'm aware that my own life is not perfect. and I'm also navigating my own unhealed and unprocessed emotions, traumas, navigating my way through my own difficult relationships. So, how? So this leads me to a question. How do we be there and show up for others while we are just about and barely showing up for ourselves? Yeah. So, to answer these questions, it's great to start at the beginning. Okay, so I grew up in a small town called Chelmsley Wood, obviously in the UK. It's on the outskirts of Birmingham and the outskirts of Solihull. At the time, we were one of a few black Jamaican households in an otherwise very Caucasian town. I never had any major issues at school, apart from the occasional teasing, very minor. I was fairly bright and straight A student by the time I got to secondary school. My mother left home when I was 7. Being the middle child, meaning I'd come home to my dad, my older brother, my older sister, who took on the caretaker role of my mum, myself and my younger brother. Okay, so this is the part that I've crossed out all this part because I'm not happy with this part. What it is, obviously time's precious, yeah? Time's limited. So I'm trying to get out as much information to get to the point of what it is I'm trying to get to without, I don't want it to turn autobiographical. So I was finding that it's turning sort of like autobiographical, and then this is the point where I'm just starting to reel and list, yeah, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, that's not the effect that I'm trying to create. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to actually read this part that I crossed out. Yeah, I'm just going to read that part. Okay. Because then basically I crossed this part out, and I said basically how I was going to continue was to say, to keep it brief, yeah, I basically summarised this part, but for the purposes of this video I'm actually going to read this part that I've crossed out, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So, I attempted college a few times before emigrating to America when I was 18, returning the following year to the UK, New York to be exact. 1999, I went to Joseph Chamberlain College, which is in Borsaleve in Birmingham. It's just outside the city centre of Birmingham, and completed in 2001 with A levels in English Literature, Theatre Studies, AS level Media. I also done a GCSE Expressive Arts course, which was about just learning all about how to produce music beats on software called Cubase, which is very similar to Pro Tools, what people use today. I went to Wolverhampton Uni, then Birmingham Uni, left after my second year, started supply teaching in secondary schools, had a brief spell in South Korea in 2006. I returned after 2006 to complete my BA at Open University. By the time I got to my final year, I'd had some type of episodic mental health and decided to kill the time by studying at uni to get my master's, leading to me doing postgraduate modules in English literature in 2012. Paradoxically, a lot happened and not a lot happened in that space of time. So that was all the bit that I've crossed out. Okay, so then basically I've reworded it, I've restructured it to keep it short, and I've said, to keep it brief, I completed A levels studying at Joseph Chamberlain in 2001, transferring 3 times to 3 different universities. I got multidisciplinary Bachelor of Arts honours degree and postgraduate diploma in higher education in humanities and arts subjects specialising in English literature in 2012. From that time onwards, so between that time, I also spent a brief spell in South Korea on supply teaching in secondary schools, right, on returning to the UK, right, yeah. So then I've basically, because I'm trying to keep it brief and I don't want it to turn autobiographical, there's a lot that I could have said that I didn't say about my relationships and various things. And yeah, I've left out a big portion, probably about 6 to 10 years I've left out, and then I've cut to kind of like talking about my mid-30s to my mid-40s. But yeah, what it is, I said in my video yesterday, in one of my videos about this public speaking challenge, that sometimes when I embark on tasks like these, I get to some sort of like emotional block or emotional barrier, and revisiting this task, I've realised that it's not so much an emotional block or an emotional barrier. What it is that my challenge here is to talk about events and circumstances that have gone on in my life that very much involves other people, very much involves my relationships with other people. And I want to talk about those things. It's not that I don't want to talk about those things or that I'm avoiding those things. My challenge is wanting to talk about those things and those people and those relationships without diverting the focus onto those people and onto those relationships, but to keep the focus on myself, because it's a public speech about myself and not my family members, not my ex-boyfriends, or these people. Yeah, so that's actually what the challenge is, as well as talking about events, circumstances that have gone on in my life, while at the same time still keeping it relevant to the topic at hand, which leads me to the question as to, if I'm going to do this public speech, I have to get clear as to what am I doing this for. Am I doing it for my own self-reflective purposes, or am I doing it in order to secure more clients? Am I promoting myself as a coach, as a mentor, as a counsellor? Am I promoting myself in order to come across as an authentic, creative human being? What's the purpose? Yeah. So yeah, that's all the unraveling. That's all the questions that go on in my mind, which is creating this barrier, yeah, or blockage. Yeah. So, regardless of all that, there's a lot of things that I could talk about, as I said, in regards to my relationships, my working relationships, my family members, all these different delicate intricacies that have gone on between myself and others that have influenced me, that have impacted me in my life. But I'm gonna readdress that at a later stage, because as I said, this is work in progress. And then the other thing, as I said, there's two different approaches I could take. I could take the approach as this is my success story, or I could take the approach as this is my authentic story. Yeah, which an authentic story is more real, it's more human, it's more genuine, and it has a more balancing factor between your successes and your failures, your strengths and your weaknesses, So yeah, that's what I'm deciding, what angle I'm gonna continue it at. Okay, yeah, so, but regardless of all that, I'm gonna continue what I've written, so what I've got so far. Okay, so when So, my mid-30s to my mid-40s, I will call my trial and error era. When I was trying things out, figuring things out, exploring, travelling, making mistakes, spending way too long procrastinating on those mistakes, and working my way out of bad relationships, which I'm still in the process of doing. Yeah. My life seems to be a never-ending work in progress. But if there is anything I learned during this period, and any message that I would like to relay, it is that. 2. Never give up on yourself. Even when you feel others have given up on you. Also, hold on to your value. See your value. Hold on to your value, even when others can't see your value. Distance yourself from those who cannot see your value or do not want to accept your value. Always remember who you are. Always remember you are enough. Keep healthy and keep hold of your body and physical health as much as is humanly possible for you to do. Find some form of spirituality which will keep you grounded, especially in the face of adversity which will inevitably come. Okay? Right? So as I said, I'm just kind of like powerhousing through this, yeah. But I need to take my time to revisit certain parts and elaborate on certain parts. That's basically my point. But yeah, so then I got to the next section, which is I've been dealing with a lot of unprocessed and unhealed emotions, yeah, for many years actually. And you can see I've listed those. You see my list? I like lists. Yes, I do. I'm one of those people. I do. So, unprocessed, unhealed emotions include disappointments, setbacks, failed relationships, not having the life that I aspire to, feeling unsuccessful when I want to be successful, which then leads me to the question of what is success? What does it mean to me, for me, to be successful? I have to get clear in my mind what that is exactly. Yeah. What does it look like? Success, I'm talking about. What does success look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Yeah. So then I'm starting to talk about my last two relationships, which I consider my most serious. The last two relationships I've been in, I consider the most two serious relationships that I've been in. I wouldn't really say that I've been in many relationships. You know, I've dated, but people I've dated, I wouldn't call them relationships. I would say I've had 3 main, relationships. My last 2 relationships, including my son's dad, I would call my most serious relationships. I would call those relationships. Or situationships. Yeah. So I'm going to call one of them A, and the other one Y. Yeah. Instead of by their real names. I'll just call one of them A, and the other one Y. Okay. So when I met A, I felt he was the one. I'm disappointed with myself for wasting my own time, not following my own gut instincts with Y, but then at the same time, how events unfolded with Y led to my new relationship and me having my son, Omar, which is a major blessing in my life. I consider having my son a real blessing. phone just decides to fall off the table at that point. The phone's having a meltdown, the phone's having a breakdown. So life will unfold the way it will. What is meant to be will be. When I met A, I felt he was the one. I knew he had his problems. I also have my issues. But I thought he wanted the same thing as me. I acted on impulse and in haste. It became so disappointing to realise how cold he can be. The something of his gambling addiction. What? The something of his gambling addiction. To realise he has these mental health struggles, which I didn't take the time to get to know and understand about. I'm disappointed with myself. I thought my judgment was better. Okay. Then, so the other thing is I never really... Obviously, your life is your life, and I don't really find my own life that exciting. I don't really know that if other people will find it that interesting, really. But if you are watching today, if you're listening, thank you very much for listening, for watching, for taking that interest. And I've never really gotten that excited and interested in my own story. Maybe maybe that is my issue. That's I need to actually get excited and interested in my own life and my own story, my own journey. But what I mean by that is I've always been like quite a creative person, and if I'm going to tell my own life story, I prefer to write a book, like turn it into a story and write a story about it, and publish a book, get creative about it. But this public speaking and not just talking about myself, it's something quite new for me, quite new to me. Because I come from that kind of like creative world where you sort of embellish and decorate the mundane, and the facts. You romanticise and you idealise things in your head, or in your work, your projects, whatever. But that's a very different method. It's a very different approach from doing something like coaching, mentoring, counselling, where you're dealing with the very real. So you have to get real. And I think this is basically what my issues are. So I'm talking about my feelings with my relationship, and I decided to get poetic with it. So this is how it goes. When I first met you, I was so attracted to you. You were so attractive to me, so real to me. I thought you were the one for me. I should have took the time to really get to know you. But shoulda, woulda, coulda is for losers. Guess I'm a loser too, just like you, sitting in the bookies, feeling like a winner for one day, till you're all spent up, blowing your winnings away. You say I'm just like you, that I got the same vices as you. The only vice I got is loving too much and not waking up too soon. I should have learned my lesson the first time around. Now I find I'm always sitting here alone in a crowd, without anybody in my corner. I feel like the last Christ when they put the last thorn in. Something. No more tears to weep. No more to have to say. But I'll never call it quits. Tomorrow's always another day. So then I just got a bit poetic. So that is my video. That's my spiel for the moment, for the day. Thanks for joining me and my work in progress on my public speech. About what? I'm not sure yet, but when I know, I will let you know. Thanks for joining. So I've done my Michael J. Fox video. Head over to my YouTube channel, Lifestyle Chaff Chat channel. I've just uploaded a video about my favourite movie, which is Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future. Yeah, I did, when I was younger, I did used to crush on Michael J. Fox, actually. Yeah, he's got that, he had that, like, boyish charm, didn't he? And those, hunter blue eyes. Yeah, he was very good looking. He talks about that in his book as well, Future Boy. And, he wasn't conventionally, like, when he was first getting sort of, like, famous, he wasn't the conventional, like, stud type, you know, the conventional Brad Pitt type. Obviously, he's quite short as well, but he always had something about him. I used to really crush on Michael J. Fox. I used to like Michael J. Fox before he even done Back to the Future. I used to watch him in Family Ties. Yeah. I was really young. I was only little. I used to crush on him then even. And then he done Back to the Future. And after that, he done series of movies. He done Secret of My Success, The Hard Way, with James Woods. It's another good movie. What else? Done a bunch of movies, yeah. Anyway, it's enough about Michael J. Fox. Yeah, so, alright. So yeah, the last thing, where is it? Yeah, so, on another note, I went out to see a show last night. It wasn't last night, it was 2-3 nights ago. I really, to my surprise, enjoyed the variety acts. Yes, I did. There were 2 poet laureates. Yeah, one, she did this poem, she called it Wriggle, and it was all about as we get older, how we're conditioned to keep still like this, but you know, we still have that need within us to wriggle and move our bodies. But the way she put the words together and really articulated that, I was really impressed, and it made me, I'm supposed to be some form of English tutor, yeah, it made me feel like a real dunce. I was like, you know what, I really need to, like, I really need to get with it, with these young kids, because they're so clever. The kids are getting so smart, you know. And there's this other singer, and one of the songs, it was called Trophy Wife. And I like what they did, actually, as well, with her song. Because usually women always say, oh, I don't want to be a trophy wife. You know, I don't want to just be that person just on your arm, yeah, just here to make you look good. But she took a total different take on that whole idea of being a trophy wife. And the song was, she was saying in the song, I want to be your trophy wife. You know, I want you to show me off. You know, like a custom-made designer outfit, Del Monte bling blings, like, show me off, I want to be your trophy wife. So I really liked what they did, yeah, with that concept. And it was a good song, she was a good singer. Yeah, I was really impressed, actually. I was surprised, because it was like local artists from Solihull area, and I was just going along thinking, oh, you know, just bring my son along, something to do. But I was really impressed with a lot of the acts. There was this comedian on there as well. She was really funny as well. It was pretty good, actually. I had these singers singing, and from The Little Mermaid. It was really good, actually. I was impressed, actually. I got a bit worried. I was like, flipping back, like, it made me think, what the hell am I doing? I got a degree in performing arts. I was like, what the frig am I doing? Yeah, I really felt a little bit like this. Anyway. Yeah, so there's singers, dance performers. Yep. Some drama from the local local youth theatre group. Yeah. Alright, so for some reason, I think people associate me with singing, dancing, and all of this performance stuff. Yeah, maybe because they see me on here, yeah, doing TikToks, goofing around on YouTube and TikTok and all of this. But the truth is that I haven't performed in the longest time. I haven't been on a stage or to sing or to dance or anything like this publicly since 2010, which is a very, very long time ago. Or more specifically 2014 to be exact, when I was in Wolverhampton and I was doing a bit of singing performances around the bars there in Wolverhampton. It was 2014. Yeah, so I've come to realise neither do I really miss it. Yeah, I don't really miss this sort of thing. I miss something, yeah, but I've really changed. Yeah, I have a lot. I've changed a lot. I think going to that show just made me realise like how much I've changed a lot. I prefer now to try something more sexy, yeah, like pole dancing or like kizomba, yeah, kizomba dance or ballroom dance like tango, something like this. But for all of these, not for pole dancing, but for the other types of dance that I've just mentioned, ideally you need a partner, yeah, like a dance partner. So that's what I'm seeking out now. Yeah, that's what I've said. A dance partner, a life partner, and a partner I can do all my social medias with. Yeah, and if I could find all three in the one person, then that would be fantastic. Happy days. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I've realised that I've changed a lot, but other and life transformations are still catching up with my internal changes. And I don't mean change as in that I'm getting older and I'm going through like the perimenopausal change or like the menopausal change. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about myself as a person and my personality and my wants and my desires and things that I used to like doing and things that I used to enjoy to the things I like doing now. Yeah, and the things I enjoy now. I'm very different. I'm a very, very different person to the person I was like 10 years ago. Yeah, so I suppose it's about me seeking out more those things that that my soul resonates with more now than what it used to. So that's what I have to say for this video. Thanks for listening, thanks for joining, and let me know, do you have any public speaking challenges? Have you been to any public speaking events? And how did you find it? Let me know in the comment section. I'm going to come off this TikTok now, but thank you so much for joining. I noticed nobody liked the live on this occasion, but no worries. It's getting to the afternoon and the sun's out, so you're probably all out busy shopping and getting your last minute bits of things before the very final stage of the Easter holidays. So see you in my next video. Speak to you later. Bye bye.